Alright guys, Mr. Burns here with your video for lesson 4.1, dividing fractions with models. I'll be honest with you, dividing fractions with models for me when I first started was kind of challenging, but the more I practice it, the more it actually makes sense to me, so it's actually kind of fun. So anyways, here we go. By the end of this video, I want you guys to be able to use models to divide fractions. So, division is a process of finding out how many groups of one number fit into another number. Models can be useful when dividing fractions. There are a variety of models that can be used when dividing by a unit fraction, a fraction with a numerator of 1. You can use a model of circling groups of the divisor. So in example number 1, let's talk about Malin. So Malin needs to measure 3/4 of a cup of milk, but only has a quarter cup measuring cup. How many times does this happen to you? Happens to me all the time. My wife always misplaces our measuring cups, so I can never find them when I'm cooking. Anyways, moving on. So the solution here says write the problem. So 3/4 divided by 1/4. It says how many 1/4 sized groups are in the number 3/4. So again, how many 1/4 sized groups are in the number 3/4? So the first thing you do is you draw yourself a picture that represents the dividend. Okay, 3/4. The dividend, remember, is the number that's being divided. So you draw yourself a little rectangular box there, divide it up into 4 equal sections, and you divide 3 of them, or you shade in 3 of them. And then it says circle groups that are the size of the divisor 1/4. So over there in the green box, it says count how many groups of the divisor fit in the dividend to find the quotient. What makes this really easy is when the when the denominators are the same. So when the denominators are the same, that's what makes this really easy. So you got 1/4 group, 1/4 group, and 1/4 group. So you get 3 1/4 groups, okay, in that fraction 3/4. So it says there are 3 circled groups of 1/4 and 3/4. So 3/4 divided by 1/4 is equal to 3. So it says Malin will need to fill the 1/4 cup measuring cup 3 times. Number lines can also be used to model a division by a fraction. I'll be honest with you, these number line things sometimes get me. I'm not the greatest at them, but I do the best that I can. So here we go. Example number 2. Clara has 4 yards of string. She needs to cut string into pieces that are 2/3 yard long. How many pieces of string will she have in all? So the solution says, draw a number line representing the 4 yards of string and mark off each yard. Okay, so that's what she has. She has 4 yards. So this is like let me write this down. So this would be like 0, 1 yard, 2 yards, 3 yards, and 4 yards. And then it says split each whole part, okay? Split each whole into thirds. Why? Because if you look at the fraction 2/3, the denominator is 3. So that's what you want to take your whole groups and divide them into, is thirds. So to divide them into thirds, you draw 2 lines in between each whole. So that's what the red lines represent. So there's a third, there's another third. So then you keep on going until you divide that 4 yards of string into thirds as well. So then what you're going to do now is just cut off groups of 2/3. So you count up 2 groups, so you cut off groups of 2/3. So you count from 0, you go 1, 2, that's a group of 2/3 right there. And you count 2 more 2/3, and then 2 more thirds, and then 2 more thirds, 2 more thirds, and finally 2 more thirds, like that. So it says Clara will have 6 pieces of string after cutting. So 4 divided by 2/3 is equal to 6. Okay, so she'll have 6 pieces of string once she's cut them into 2/3 pieces. And like I said, I'm not the greatest at number lines. I'm more comfortable with the models, but hey, you never know. Once we get to the tiered section, maybe I will have overcome my phobia of using number lines. In some cases, a divisor does not go evenly into a dividend. In those cases, you can still use a model to see how many times the divisor goes into the dividend evenly. Then you can determine how much of the divisor is left in the incomplete group. So in this example, it says find the value of 5/8 divided by 1/4. So the first thing they're going to do in the solution, it says create an equivalent expression using common denominators. So when I first started using this curriculum, this is one of the concepts that was new to me that they introduced, was finding common denominators when dividing. It wasn't something that I remember doing very much of when I was younger. So here we go. So the first thing you do is you find a common denominator. So 5/8 divided by 1/4 is equivalent to 5/8 divided by 2/8. How did they get 2/8? Well, the common denominator is 8, so they went 4 times 2. And whatever you multiply to the denominator, you multiply to the numerator. So 1 times 2 is 2. So that's how they get 2/8. So they say, draw a picture that represents the dividend 5/8. So in this fraction bar, okay, you've got 8 equal sections, 5 of which are shaded. And then it says circle groups that are the size of the divisor 2/8. So you're going to circle 2 of these 8 groups. So you count up 1 block, 2 blocks, circle it. That's what the numerator tells you. Okay, 1 block, 2 blocks, circle that group. 1 block, 2 blocks, okay, and circle that. So how many full groups do you have? You have 2 full groups, okay? And then out of that last group, what is shaded? Well, you've got 2 parts, okay? You've got 2 parts, one of which is shaded. So it says determine how many full groups fit into the dividend. That's 2 full groups. And it says there is a partially filled group remaining. Determine what fraction represents the partially filled group, and that's 1/2. So it says the divisor fit into the dividend 2 whole times with half of a group remaining. So that's how they come up with 2 1/2. So hopefully that makes sense to you. Let's take a look at example 3. On example 3, it says find the value of 1/2 divided by 5/6. Again, the solution says create an equivalent expression using common denominators. So the common denominator is 6. So how do you convert 1/2 into 3/6? Well, you multiply both the numerator and the denominator by 3. So that's how they come up with 3/6. So you have 3/6 divided by 5/6. So next step, draw a picture that represents the dividend 3/6. Okay, so you draw yourself a model there with 6 equal sections. Okay, and you shade in 3 of them. And then it says circle groups that are the size of the divisor. So you take the numerator in the divisor, 5, and that's how many of those sections are in a group. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you circle 5 of those sections. Now, 3 of them are shaded, okay, out of the 5 that you circled. So it says there's a partially filled group. Determine what fraction represents the partially filled group, and that would be 3/5. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense to you. And we're going to be doing using models quite a bit in the tiered lesson. So let's go ahead and dive right into that. Okay, so here we are on lesson 4.1T, dividing fractions with models. So for number 1, it says, use the model at the right to show that 4/5 divided by 1/5 is equal to 4. So the first number, the dividend, the first fraction, the dividend, 4/5, okay, helps us set up our problem. So we've got our rectangular model here, and it's divided up into 5 equal sections because that is what the denominator is. And we know that 4 of those 5 are shaded. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to circle the groups that are the size of the divisor. And the divisor in this case is 1/5, so that's the divisor. So what we're going to do is we're going to count how many groups of the divisor will fit into the dividend to find the quotient. So here we go. So there is 1 group, there's 2 groups, there's 3 groups of 1/5, and there's 4 groups. of 1/5. So when you look at this, there are 4 circled groups of 1/5 in 4/5 with no remainder. Okay, so let's move on to number 2 and number 3, and let's talk about number lines. On number 2, it says, find the value of 3 divided by 1/2 using the number line. So again, I do know that number lines are not my strong suit, so I will explain this as best as I possibly can. So what it says in part A, it says divide each unit on the number line into halves. And I'm going to choose a different color than blue. Let's choose, purple, like a dark purpley color. Purpley. Anyways, moving on. So we're going to divide each of these whole sections. So that's 0, 1, 2, and then we got 3. And actually, let me do this. So 0, 1, 2, and 3. So I've got 3 sections there. Now what we're going to do with those 3 sections is I'm going to divide them into halves. So there's 1/2, there's another half, there's my third half. Okay, so next up, after that, so we did that there. And then it says, count the number of halves in 3 units. So here's what you're going to do now. Here's what we're going to do now. So we've got, here's a half unit. So that's 1 half unit, 2 half units, 3 half units, 4 half units, 5 half units, and 6 half units. So 3 divided by 1/2 is 6, because there are 6 half units in 3 whole. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. It does to me, but then again, I'm the math teacher, so I kind of get it. Okay, number 3. So it says 3. It says, what is the value of 2 divided by 1/4? Use the number line below, okay, to support your answer. So here again, we've got our number line. We've got it, it's representing 0 to 2 with the 1 in the middle. So I like to write that down as well. So we're going to divide each whole section into fourths, which means I'm going to draw 3 lines to make 4 sections. So I'm going to choose a different color here besides the blue, and I'm going to choose a dark orangey color. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 lines. So drawing those 3 lines takes each part and divides it up into 4 equal sections. So how many fourth sections are there? So let's count those up. And again, I'm going to use a different color to make it a little more noticeable. So let's see. There's a 4th section, 2nd 4th section, 3rd 4th section, 5 1/4 sections, 6, 7, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So there are 8 quarter sections in 2. So my final answer is 8. So there are 8 quarter sections, okay, in 2 whole. All right, here we go with number 4. On number 4, it says find the value of 2/3 divided by 1/4. So it says rewrite the expression using common denominators. So we've got 2/3 divided by 1/4. What's a common denominator? Well, the common denominator is 12. So we're going to rewrite these fractions so they have a common denominator of 12. Okay, so we're going to rewrite them as equivalent fractions. So 3 times what is 12? That's 4. And 2 times 4 is 8. 4 times what is 12? That's 3. And then 1 times 3 is 3. So it says shade in the picture to represent the dividend. Remember that the dividend is the first fraction. So the dividend, okay, is 8/12. Then circle the group that are the size of the divisor. The divisor, okay, is 3/12. So here we go. So we're going to circle, we're going to shade in 8 of the 12 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then what we're going to do now with this, okay, is we're going to circle the groups that are the size of the divisor 3/12. And the numerator is 3. So that's how many are going to be in each group. So there's going to be 3 of the shaded section in each of these groups. So here we go. So we've got 1, 2, 3. That's one group. 1, 2, 3. That's two groups. And then 1, 2, 3. So in this case, 2 of the 3 sections are shaded. So 2/3 divided by 1/4, okay, in this case is going to be equal to 2, because 2 whole sections, and then 2/3 was left over. So 2/3 divided by 1/4 is 2 and 2/3. So it says explain, okay, how the model represents the quotient. So in this case, for part D, there were 2 whole groups. So 2 whole groups of 3/12 with 2/3 left over. All right, and let's move on to the next page. So on number 5, okay, it says find the value of 5/8 divided by 3/4. So we're going to rewrite the expression using a common denominator. So we've got 5/8 divided by 3/4. So let's rewrite with a common denominator. The common denominator in this case is 8. First fraction already has a denominator of 8, so nothing changes. It's still 5/8. And then what do we multiply 4 by to get 8? That's 2. And then 3 times 2 is 6. So those are equivalent fractions. And then it says shade in the picture to represent the dividend, which is 5/8. Then circle the groups that are the size of the divisor. And the divisor was 6/8. So let's go ahead and shade that in. I'll choose a different color. Let's see, green. So 5/8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the next thing we're going to do in this case is we're going to circle groups that are the size of the divisor. And the divisor, remember, was 6/8. So here we go. So there's going to be 6 groups, okay, 6 sections in this group. So there's going to be 6 sections in this group. And I'm going to choose red. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so there's 6 shaded sections in this group. But here's the deal. There is a partially filled group. Okay, so now we have to determine the fraction, okay, that represents the partially filled group. So out of this circled group, how many sections are there? There are 6. And how many of them are shaded? 5. So 5/8 divided by 3/4, okay, is 5/6. So we didn't have quite one whole group shaded. So it says explain how the model represents the quotient. So in this situation, okay, for part D, this is a partial group. So for part D, write this down. So this is a partial group of 5/6, okay, where the dividend was shaded. Okay, so hopefully that makes a little bit of sense to you. So we didn't get quite one whole group of 3/4. Okay, we only got 5/6 of that group shaded. So that's what we're talking about there. Okay, so for number 6 and 7, it says use a model to find each quotient. So here we go with number 6. Okay, so for number 6, we've got 1/3 divided by 1/2. The first thing I'm going to do is rewrite each of these so that they have a common denominator. So the common denominator for 3 and 2 is 6. Okay, so 3 times 2 is 6, and 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6, and 1 times 3 is 3. So there we go. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to shade in the picture to represent the dividend. which is the first fraction. So I'm going to draw myself a fraction bar here. Okay, and I'm going to divide it up into 6 equal parts. So I've drawn 5 lines as best as I possibly can. Bear with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not bad, not bad. Okay, out of those 6 sections, I'm going to shade in 2 of them. So 1, 2. And now that I shaded in the picture to represent the dividend, which was 2, 6, I'm going to circle the groups that are the size of the divisor. And the divisor is 3, 6. So there's going to be 3 of these sections in my group. So again, I'm going to choose a different color here. Let's say blue this time. So here we go. So there's 1, 2, 3. Oh man, we only got a partial group. Well, how many sections are in that partial group total? That would be 3. Of those 3 sections in this group, how many of them are shaded? That's 2. So 1/3 divided by 1/2 is 2/3. Okay, on to number 7. On number 7, we've got 5/6 divided by 1/4. So same thing. I'm going to go ahead and create an equivalent expression using common denominators. My common denominator in this point, in this problem, is going to be 12. So 6 times what is 12? That's 2. So 5 times 2 is 10. Okay, those are equivalent fractions. 4 times what is 12? That's 3. And 1 times 3 is 3. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a picture that represents the dividend, which is 5/6. I'm sorry, which is going to be 10/12. So let's see here. I really don't want to mess this one up. Got a lot of sections in this one. So we've got 12 equal sections, which means I'm going to draw 11 lines. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Man alive, that was pretty good. I think I've been doing this a while. Make that a little bit neater. Neater. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to shade in. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and shade in 10 of those 12 sections. Let's choose a different color. I'm going to use yellow this time, so 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to circle groups that are the size of the divisor, which is 3/12. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to circle those, and the numerator 3 tells me how many of these sections are in a group. So there's going to be 3 sections in each group. So here we go. So there's 1 group, 2 groups, and 3 groups. So there's 3 whole groups. And I just realized something. I have too many sections here, so I had to erase that. Why don't you guys catch that? Come on. Okay, so now I got the right amount of groups. Man alive, Mr. Burns might be bald, but I'm not perfect. Moving on. Okay, so we didn't quite, so we've got a little bit of a section left here. So out of those, how many sections are there? There's 3 sections left. And of those 3 sections that are left, how many are shaded? That's 1. So 1 of the 3 sections is shaded. So my final answer is 5/6 divided by 1/3 is 3 and 1/3. All right. Okay, let's take a look at number 8. On number 8, it says Melanie had 2/3 cup of chocolate chips. She was putting the chocolate chips into snack bags so that each bag held 1/6 of a cup of chocolate chips. How many bags did she fill? So we know that she had 2/3 and that she divided that into 1/6 cups. So here we go. So just like with some of the other problems before, here's what we're going to do. We're going to create an equivalent expression using common denominators. So in this case, the common denominator is 6. So we're going to convert both of these fractions so they have a denominator of 6. Second fraction, okay, the divisor already has a denominator of 6, so don't mess with it, leave it alone. 3 times what is 6? That's 2. And then 2 times 2 is 4. Let's go ahead and draw our picture that represents the dividend, which is 4/6. Okay, we're going to take this fraction, this bar, and divide it up into 6 equal parts, which means we're going to draw 5 lines. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And of those 6 parts, we're going to shade in 6 of them. Okay, so 6 of them. We're going to shade in 4 of them. Hello, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to circle the groups that are the size of the divisor, which is 1/6. So there's going to be, the numerator is 1. Okay, the numerator is 1. So there's going to be one shaded section in each group. So here we go. So choose green. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4. Okay. In this case, there are 4 bags that she filled. All right. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. I'll be honest with you. You know, after I kind of got into this dividing fractions with models, it's actually pretty fun doing it this way. The number line again. You know, that's something I need to work at, and I recognize that. But it just so happened that in this tiered lesson, we didn't have to use number lines. We just used models. Okay, the fraction bar models. So anyway, it is lots of fun. I enjoy it. So if you guys need any help, make sure you come and see me. I'll be more than happy to help you. Make sure you ask your teachers first. And that's all I got. Mr. Burns, out.